Watch very closely now. 3, 2, 1. Bzow! Check that out.
The following podcast features terrible jokes.
You know you can use Hot Wheels cars when you need to make a saving throw in D&D? Every car is die-cast.
Usually about board games.
We want the fun. Gotta have that fun.
Must insist that no one attempt to recreate any joke performed on this podcast.
We had less technical issues than $1 million company.
All right!
This is Boards and Swords.
This is me opening my... Oh, there it goes. Camera is actually working. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Boards and Swords. This is a podcast featuring bad jokes, good folks, and some tabletop games. I am one of your hosts. My name is Chris Renshaw, and I'm going to throw it over here to my partner in crime, Mr. Philip Herbig.
Which crime, though?
Yes.
Okay. That's my partner in crime. Like, which crime, man? We've not allegedly.
Yeah.
Welcome to Boards and Swords. It's your Monday evening where we just go and ramble about weird stuff like that just happened.
Yes, and joining us this week, we have Brent from both Goobertown Hobbies and Goblin Hobbies.
That's correct. Happy to be here. I'm Brent from both Goobertown Hobbies and Goblin Hobbies.
And like right on cue is when the cat walks in and just like covers up. Which, if you've not watched Brent's videos, is like peak like Goobertown experience there, I feel like.
Yeah, I started talking and Snuffles thought I was doing sweet whispers to her, so here we are.
So, for those not familiar with your work, what would give us a quick pitch?
Well, Goobertown Hobbies is a YouTube channel where I do a lot of miniature painting, and probably my slant on things is that in a former life I was a scientist, and so I do a lot of like experimenting with different products, and I talk about the chemistry of glues and paints and all that kind of stuff. And then, if we're talking about Goblin Hobbies is a new company that sells stamps for miniatures. So it's a combined project between myself and Casey from eBay Miniature Rescues. And we sell stamps that can be used to put iconography and patterns and designs onto miniatures, essentially as an alternative to decals or stencils or freehand and stuff like that.
If you're in the unlikely situation that you are a female and watching this podcast, there's a good chance that you may see this product and go like, "Oh, those are just nail stamping plates."
Yeah, the type of stamps. So when I try to tell people that these are stamps for miniatures, there's a lot of different things that can pop into your mind. And if you haven't seen these before and you have not done your nails before, it might be a little bit harder for me to explain what's going on here. But this is not one of those rubber stamps that you slam down on an ink pad and then put on your target. These are etched steel plates that have designs all over them. And the idea is you ink up the design you want with the color you want, scrape away the excess, come in with a squishy silicone pad to pick up the design off of the steel plate, and then put that down onto your miniature. The broader technology is called pad printing or tampography or tampo printing. But in terms of what people use this for, what consumers use this for, it is most closely related to nail stamping from the world of manicures and pedicures and that sort of thing.
Yeah, that was it. Like our local game store owner is a woman, and I pulled up your website, and she's just like, "Oh, those are nail stamping plates." I was like, "Yeah."
Pretty dang close. Yep.
But
so
we'll get to talking.
Okay.
Yeah,
You got a system. I know you got to get to news first.
We'll get back to that in a second. But first, we do have some news to talk about. I was playing this video game where you have to like change the ecosystem of a planet in order to support new life, but you have to fill like all this paperwork only to rip it up afterwards. But it's entirely possible I just misunderstood what they meant when they said terraform. So, yeah, Steamforged Games, which is really weird. Grab for getting this, but Terra Mystica, which is a very, well, I can't say very. It's an older board game, and when I say older, I mean like 2015. So, like, or 2015, 2016.
Ancient.
Yeah, or no, actually, I think it's 2014. So I think we are in the classic car era.
It's the before times.
Yeah. Terra Mystica Special Edition, a new edition of the hit board game, which will head to GameFound for crowdfunding. Debuted in 2012. Okay, I was way off. Yeah, one of the most popular games of the 2010s. I believe there was a period of time it was in like the top 5 of Board Game Geek. This is one of those I've actually played, and it's one of those like Euro games. I actually, one of those very like meaty, crunchy sort of board games, but I actually liked it because there was like a point to it. Where the
Played it once in maybe 2014. This is all checking out. Yeah, continue.
Yeah, and then especially I played this is one of those games I played like a bunch on the app, because they had like a phone app, so I did play like a lot when that came around. But apparently, and I'm pretty sure it was Z-Man Games was who originally did it. But now Steamforged Games is getting it. Although apparently Capstone was original or had it recently, and then finally making its way to Steamforged. Offers a
Are
new
they
edition of.
changing it or just a new publisher for the same game?
It says a new edition of the game with new box art and a new way to experience the game. So my guess is it's probably, I would imagine it's tweaks off of the original, and then there's been this really big push of let's take like all these really clunky Euro games and put like really nice coats of paint on them. I guess to try and appeal to more people, because that's, if you look at the box art here, it's definitely a lot better looking than the original. Let's see if the article here has it.
Oh no, man! The original box, it's got sort of a Magic the Gathering feel with all the colors around the rim there.
Yeah, but that's exactly it. Is like, oh look, it looks like Magic the Gathering kind of. This looks like it was made on a 90s computer right here.
People bought it.
Oh yeah, a lot of people bought it. But then it's like, bam! That's $100,000 Kickstarter at least right there. Especially, how much is Steamforged Games? This is gonna have minis in it most likely. For no reason, but I feel like they did
that checks out.
For no minis for no reason.
I didn't say it was a bad reason. I just said no
Okay,
reason.
I was gonna say, you're like for no reason. Don't you have cases and cases of minis?
Fair. But I feel like they did. I don't know if
paint.
Steamforged did it, but there was that version of Agricola that got pushed not too long ago. I think it was crowdfunded. That it had gone and gotten like redone artistically as well. So I feel like that's the level we're at in the industry, where we're pulling the Hollywood. Well, let's just reboot it.
There you go. With Carl Urban.
Yeah. But wait, is he short hair or long hair?
Well, I mean Terra Mystica, so that would be fantasy.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay, so that's long hair, Carl Urban.
Yeah.
So, all right. Moving on. If NSYNC had a show in India, would they have to leave it singing Dubai Bye Bye? So, former airline captain hoping to create the Gen Con of Dubai with launch of the Middle East's first dedicated board game convention. I'm always real fans whenever I hear about how people are doing tabletop gaming in other parts of the world. Because we tend to get very kind of like, American, European focused, because that's just what we see. But there was that Kickstarter for it was like 5 or 6 years ago. There was like Kickstarters for like an African like board gaming convention. So now we're seeing stuff for like the Middle East. Former airline pilot who spent the last decade building a board game distribution business, which I mean, like, That's like leading the whist. I hate that where it's like this guy's building. He's a board game distributor, but they call him former airline captain. I guess that like makes for a better headline.
You get a little flavor in there.
Yeah.
It's hoping to create the region's equivalent of Gen Con with the launch of a Dubai-based convention this November. And he's already got more than 50 publishers, including like some pretty big names here: Stonemaier Games, Leader Games, Games Workshop, and Wizards of the Coast will be exhibiting or represented at the first tabletop.me. While their 250 games will be available for teaching and play in a 73,000 square meter open gaming hall. It's got them space meters in it. So I don't know how that compares.
I mean, that sounds like a big haul, but the open gaming event is always kind of the, I don't know, the stepchild at Gen Con. Like Gen Con, the main event is the vendor hall, you know?
Yeah.
So you gotta list more than 4 different vendors to build up a convention there.
It is its first event.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you only had to pick like 4, those are some big names to pick.
Yeah.
It's hoping to attract several thousand attendees from across the region, which the majority expecting from the United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia and Iran, and others from Qatar, Kuwait, and Bahrain. So, like, it's a lot of people in that area, and it's expensive to travel internationally. So some of these people, this is like the first time that they've probably ever been able to do a decent, or probably go to a larger, maybe not, that's not a local gaming event. I remember 2020 when Gen Con had their like online Gen Con, and I played in an online game, and there was like a British couple that were like, yeah, we never get to participate in Gen Con because it's just too expensive to fly to the US. But so this gave us an opportunity to actually play in some of the events since it was online.
Well, there
For
you go.
comparison, the Indiana Convention Center has an exhibit space of 52,639 square meters.
Okay, so their open hall is bigger than the vendor space at Gen Con. That's
Well,
pretty
alright.
good for a first time.
Well, no, the open gaming hall is only 7,300.
You said 52. Never mind.
52,000.
Oh, okay. I heard 5,200.
Thousand.
Yeah. There's an extra 0 in there.
Okay, but I mean, you gotta
You gotta start somewhere.
you start. You start. You
You
don't.
just gotta start somewhere. You could hide 2,000 people in that much space. Like that is that's wild.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you gotta remember also
You don't rent that entire giant building with the helipad on top of it
Yeah.
for this convention, and only 12 people show up.
Yeah.
You gotta.
Gen Con's coming. I mean, I think we're getting close to Gen Con 60 here soon. Like they've had a little bit of time there.
Oh yeah.
So let's see. There's a lot of information on here if you're curious about the kind of the man behind this. So let's see.
Airline captain,
Oh yeah, here's
distributor.
there's more than 4 people. There is a huge list here. I mean, it starts with AEG and keeps going through Asmodee. You got Bandai, which I mean, that's basically in their backyard, so why not? Let's see, just scroll through here. Chaosium.
How many people on this list can just be grouped under Asmodee?
Not as many as it used to be.
Oh, that's right. They spun some of those guys off, didn't they?
FFG is on here. Exploding Kittens, Glass Cannon, Horrible Guild, Konami. You got Pokemon.
And because what the article a bit further up, it was some of this stuff, it does take 24 hours flying out and flying back to Indianapolis. So I mean, some of these people that are over in Europe, it's like, oh, it's right there now.
Yeah, that's the other is like you get down to the bottom of the list and there's just like publishers from the UAE, like publishers from Oman, Kuwait, Lebanon. Like these are things I've never heard about just because they're just not on my side of the world.
Mhm.
So that's like super cool for them because you got to imagine that this is the big opportunity. That I imagine they some of these companies probably travel to like Essen just because
Yep.
that's a whole lot closer and is the largest convention for tabletop. But, outside of that, they may not have much to do. So hey, I'm all about spreading opportunities. So I think this is great. And yeah, that's definitely this isn't something to just sneeze at. This is a huge list for like a first time.
Mhm.
Like, and a full, and also you got to imagine that this is like these are just the main players. There's probably so many like indie companies
Oh
and
yeah.
like
There's. I mean, these are the ones that are going to take up like
artists and
you
such.
know, couple 100 square foot booths. Then you got the guys that are taking up 12 square foot booths.
Yeah, booth singular.
Yeah, booth.
All right. I was questing with a friend when they robbed me, and they managed to get away by throwing a sheep in my face. They really pulled the wool over my eyes. So I'm always a sucker for weird, awkward Kickstarters. So the title of this one is Kickstarter's latest $100,000 board game is a horror comedy about killer sheep. So if the horror, let's see. If the horror movie Black Sheep became a board game, this is exactly what it would look like. So
It was a comedy. Black Sheep,
yes.
starring Chris Farley.
Yes, yep. I don't think that's the movie they're referring to, but let's see. Perhaps you're picturing first a board game called The Sheep sounds run of the mill. Perhaps you're picturing a cozy shepherding game with twee art of sheepdogs. Maybe you imagine a careful worker placement game like Agricola, complete with sweet little sheeples. The sheep is not the board game you're thinking of. This is a ghastly game of survival where sheep are the apex predator. And it's already raised, and this is 11 days ago, over 100,000. The sheep are coming, and you must stop them at all costs. Horror comedy co-op. The cashew is shepherds turned mercenaries charged with herding supply caravans from one town to the next. Your primary obstacles on this journey are the sheep. By day, they're the regular balls of fluff you know and love. However, after night falls, they take on a variety of monstrous forms. These mutants charge towards the nearest caravan, and your shepherd must use their unique skills and equipment to beat the bastards back. I love it. Oh my gosh. So basic copy is available for $59. $99 pledge adds a wooden insert, miniature STLs, and any unlocked stretch goals. There's also a $149 all-in bundle with a candle and an Eldritch Sheep plushie. Although you can buy that separately.
I was gonna say you can buy that separate. I'm like, I just want that. That sounds great.
Yeah, Eldritch Sheep plushie sounds great. Move by day, gather equipment and level up, fend off supernatural attackers by night, and pray for safety. If any caravan is run down by the horrific herd, it's game over. I should have brought up the actual page. So this might be over by, I don't know. I didn't look to actually check out the actual Kickstarter page, and now it's taken forever.
17 days to go.
17 days. Oh, Zero Strategy. Okay, and I've backed stuff from them before, so weren't those sheep criminals on the lam? I like it. Oh yeah, like that's kind of really eerily creepy, where it's just like the sheep holding a lantern in its mouth.
Yeah.
Although
I'm glad I actually finished reading the article because I was like, this sounds like that old parody PC game from the 90s, Dear Avenger. Like, but no, completely different. You're still playing the humans in this one.
Hoser 40K. I totally forgot it was Goober in time.
It is Goober in time. Yeah, how's chat doing over there? I'm not linked into all the portals the way you all are.
FYI, if you look in the chat for the Discord channel we're in, there's the last link that's posted in there has all the combined chats.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, this looks like I like the artwork, as it's just kind of like scrolling by here.
Oh yeah, the artwork's kind of great.
Yeah. I'm trying to find the sheep plushie is really what I'm scrolling through here for.
It's not there.
It's not.
Well, it's if you go to the pledge side.
Okay.
Where you can scroll down and look at like the pledge options. There you go. There's the sheep.
And look, I'm just here for the plushie. $35.
Sweet. Hell yeah.
They know their audience.
What was that? What was that cat in the D&D movie?
I don't remember. You're talking about the
The
Displacer
cat
Beast?
that shot out the holograms
No.
and had the tentacle arms.
Oh, it's probably Displacer Beast. Or Displacer
Yes, that one.
Kitten. Yeah.
I was like, that's the kind of vibe I'm getting with the tentacles.
Yeah. So yeah, there you go. If you want, I mean, we know what you're here for. Go grab yourself a $35 Eldritch sheep plushie. All right. Okay. Sorry to anyone that's never played Halo, but I couldn't resist. Halo joke here. Why couldn't the Covenant attack Earth directly in the beginning? Because they didn't have the reach. So, Mantic had a Flashpoint AMA, and there was a couple things that let slip. I've got 2 articles in here for it. First up is that the Noble team from Halo Reach is going to be one of the next big expansions for Flashpoint, Halo Flashpoint. The newest news is we're getting Noble team most likely in mid-2026, but they're also looking out to bring Grunts, Jackals, and UNSC Marines next year too. We're obviously not finished. Ronnie Renton, Manic CEO, tells our live audience early in the 1-hour AMA, which you can watch in full in this link. But still things we need to complete out the armies, such as Grunts, Jackals, Marines. I'm just waiting for man. I will totally rock out a Grunt army and then just have my phone ready to play the Grunt birthday. Yeah, that's the one.
We need to keep it would get expensive, but you need to keep little confetti poppers.
No, I just have my phone up and just have it go like that.
Just get a little firework animation.
Yeah. We have a lot planned, but we're really going to be making sure we do each time is complete out these factions before we move on to the next ones. Just pressed on how firmly on the way they are. Those are proposals in front of Halo Studios right now, and as long as we're cool with it, that's the place we're intending to head down towards. So keep in mind that they got ODSTs that are launching next month. I know so many people that are excited for that. But I tell you, what's more exciting than this is the next article talking about Halo, and that is Mantic really wants to do a full-on Halo minis game that has vehicles in it too. And I was like, let's go. So just to roll back here, if you know nothing about Mantic games, so the Halo Flashpoint uses a modified version of their Dead Zone rules, which their Dead Zone is their skirmish sci-fi game where it's like, okay, we've got our Warhammer Fantasy ripoff, and then this is our 40K ripoff. Well, their full army-sized 40K game is called Firefight, and so that's what they're talking about. Taking like basically what Halo Flashpoint is to Dead Zone being the skirmish level, individual guys. Like, okay, what if we scale that up and base it on our Firefight rule set, and now we've got full on Halo, or at least the minis, the mini side of it.
So from X-Wing to Armada.
Yes.
in terms of scale?
Yes. I don't know. I mean,
That
yes and
sounds
no.
more like from kill team up to
Yeah.
40K, but
To 40K, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, granted, in the sense of, yes, we're going to focus in on some of the bigger things, and the regular guys are probably, but it also could be they keep the same scale, but the play area gets bigger. So maybe use I'm not, it could be they use the same minis, but now you're playing on like a 6x4 board instead of, like a 2x2 that Flashpoint's played on.
We're gonna have to map out areas on the floor and take our shoes off so we don't destroy anything.
Yeah. So
I painted up a Spartan last year. It was fun. There's it's good to get involved in that world. I have many happy hours of combat evolved in my history, and it's cool to see those guys. I'm looking forward to them getting some jackals and grunts and all that business.
yeah, and I was
Especially the jackals.
yeah,
Especially jackals.
exactly. And I definitely I was hoping that there might be down the line some sort of vehicle input. It's like whether it's like a special scenario where it's like double or 3 times the board, and it's still Flashpoint, but like here's some vehicles in there too, because it does a really good job of the like 4v4 simulating that team deathmatch style. So being able to like play out that kind of scale on like on those larger maps.
Blood Gulch.
Blood
Rockets
Gulch.
only.
Yeah, that's what I was trying.
Yep.
I was trying to remember the name of it, Blood Gulch. So, subject to further approval by Halo Studios, Mantic wants to add larger scale battles with vehicles, and it's already scoping out the options. The firm really wants to expand Halo Flashpoint into a full tabletop war game with cross compatibility of models with the skirmish. Okay, so yeah, we're talking same size, same scale. So that means like, so if the mini's like that big, then like your Warthog would be like, think of like a Land Raider size from like 40K.
The Warthog's not that big, but the Scorpion tank maybe.
Oh,
maybe.
that's true. Well, I was trying to think because the minis are bigger than like your 40K minis. Because the minis are like 40 millimeters. I think
a Spartan is quite a large man.
That's true.
I mean, a Space Marine's supposed to be a similarly sized large man, but scale. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see the relative size of the ODST troops, eh?
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I didn't even think about because they're just the normal humans. Because I think it's supposed to be you get more than just like the standard 4. I just don't remember if they've said how much that is. So not a whole lot of details on this part because again, this is everything. This is still like, I'm actually surprised they're even talking about it, considering they're still trying to get approval from the IP holder.
Games within games.
Yeah.
Maybe they know something we don't.
Or they're hoping maybe that like the excitement and fervor will like convince Halo like, oh, we should probably do this.
Yeah.
One of the pictures is the Blood Gulch map.
Yeah.
Keep scrolling down a little bit. I see it over there.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Is that I get the names mixed up. That one's Blood Gulch, and then there's a much smaller, more claustrophobic one that I forget the name of in Halo Combat Evolved, but
oh yes, the one that has like the
tiny
river in the middle, and it's like the 2 bases, and there's like the ridge that you can where all the power ups and the rockets were.
Oh, we're talking about the same thing. The Needler was much more important in that map.
Oh yes.
Yeah,
Battle Creek.
What was
Battle Creek? Yes, Philip.
He just quick with the fingers there, typing it up.
Mm-hmm.
All right, one last story here. I wanted to make a joke about Napoleon here, but I decided to keep it short. So, another one of those, like, I can't not talk about this based on just the headline alone. Napoleon Dynamite's Warhammer documentary is a glorious guide to grimdark gaming.
Combination of words I never thought I'd
exactly
in my life.
So, In The Grim and the Dark, The Search for John Blanche. John, is it Heater or is it Header?
Napoleon Dynamite.
Sure.
Yeah. The American actor best known for his role as Turbo Dork Napoleon Dynamite in the 2004 indie comedy, goes on a globe-trotting journey to discover the grimdark wargaming scene lurking in the shadows of the mainstream 40K fandom. What emerges is a far-reaching exploration of the history, personalities, aesthetics, and motivations that have inspired this art style and style of gameplay, capped with an interview with John Blanche, the grandfather of modern grimdark media. Oh, Heater, apparently. So, then it goes on here talking about just like how much of an influence John Blanche had on the aesthetic of 40K. But, see, don't. Okay, there we go. Is less interested in the history the Grim in the Dark is than it is in the vibes it seeks to illuminate the motivations that draw people to a form of gaming that demands a huge investment of the effort beyond the tabletop. The origins and boundaries of the grimdark aesthetic, the particulars of the gameplay style. So, I need to watch this because that just sounds just the polar, not polar opposites, but just the merging of just two things I normally wouldn't put in the same category. Although I mean he does look like an uber nerd, but just you don't normally think of Napoleon Dynamite and 40K in the same thought pattern. So
I'm curious. I'm curious. I heard some stories that some guys who were interviewed for it. Okay, the story I heard, I don't even know if it's true. The Hive Scum guys, that podcast,
yes,
were interviewed in part of the journey for this particular documentary here, and the story I heard is that they got early access to watch it, but they had been cut from the final cut. Which is perfect. But,
I mean, but that's just standard media stuff. Where
no, for sure, no, that's no judgment anyway. It's just if I like those guys a lot, and I'm just enjoying them having I'm enjoying the vision of that room when they realized that they'd been cut, and I bet they had a great time with it. But yeah. I don't know. Maybe I just shouldn't repeat things that I hear, but I'm doing it. I'm doing it.
He does talk. He goes into a Mordheim meetup. Like that's even niche among niche when you're talking about.
Seems like the Hive Scum guys would have been around there.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a good place to find the Hive Scum guys.
Probably.
Now I'm just doing Napoleon Dynamite crap. I'm like, that's heresy. Gosh.
So I would say that Borat got funny again. Like, obviously there was a good 10-year lull where, the Borat jokes just weren't hitting the way they once were. But I think Borat came back before Napoleon Dynamite came back. Yeah. I think Napoleon Dynamite is still deep in its 15-year not funny anymore lull, but give it a few more years, it might come back.
I don't know. I was never a fan. I never thought it was like there was the quoting the movie was funnier than the actual movie was.
Yes.
It was one of those movies when I watched it finally, I was like, this is it. This is it. That's it.
Well, it's because you watched it finally.
Yeah.
If you had watched it when it premiered,
I don't know.
You probably would have.
I don't know. Maybe because it was definitely one of those movies where it just got hyped up so much, and then I saw it, and then I was like, this is disappointing.
All the funny stuff was in the trailer.
Yeah. Where can you see I'm trying to scroll through and see where can you actually watch the documentary at? Like, is it on YouTube or is it?
I know you can buy it from their website. Yeah, you have to buy it. Eventually, it will be other places, I think.
That's true. Okay, so yeah, for right now, you have to go to the studio Trademark Films. It's $12, and then they plan to release it on additional VOD platforms in the future. So
Well, there you have it.
yeah, I don't know that if this introduced, I mean, it sounds like it'd be at least entertaining. I mean, $12. That sounds like that sounds worth it. That's about as much as I would be willing to pay for this.
Yeah. There have been a handful of real attempts at a documentary about kind of our general hobby of miniatures and tabletop gaming and everything. And I don't think any of them have quite hit yet. So
Very true.
gonna keep watching them until one of them finally gets it.
All right, and that's your news. So with that, we'll turn back to Brent here and just kind of start with the obvious question of how did this even come about?
Hold on. The framing changed up on my screen. It had been like a half screen, so I'd been all hunched over to try to get in the frame, but now sit up here like a big boy. Okay. Yeah, so the story behind Goblin Hobbies, Casey and I, Casey eBay Miniature Rescues, we've been friends basically our entire YouTube career. So me from my account, Goobertown Hobbies, messaged Casey on his account. I think when he had like 100 subscribers and Goobertown Hobbies had like 75 subscribers, and we'd both painted some goblins, and we just became friends. We ended up making a podcast, Paint Bravely, on a little bit of a summer break right now. We'll get back to it, but anyway, my podcast buddy and I like do a bunch of hobby together and talk about different things. And one problem that we were trying to figure out was it's the Space Marine shoulder problem.
Yep.
Of how do you get a good icon design, squad marking, whatever, onto a Space Marine shoulder pad. And decals sometimes work. So the shoulder pad just has enough of a curve to it that you need to deform a water slide decal just enough so that you get weird wrinkles, and you need to cut like relief lines into the plastic and all that stuff. Just a little bit harder than it needs to be. And we had this idea for stamps, and we actually did end up making a couple like prototype stamps in the traditional like rubber version.
Right.
And our idea was like, all right, if we can get a rubber stamp but curve it the right way, we'll put a gauntleted fist on it or something, and we'll be able to make a useful Space Marine shoulder stamp. And this was just us like playing around trying to figure out a useful hobby tool. And yeah, that never really went anywhere, but eventually we did hear about this, technology that folks were using for manicures. This tampography or pad printing or whatever you want to call it. And that tech involves using, for the stamper, is this soft silicone pad that can conform around things. So you grab the design that you want, and as that design is drying there on the head of the stamper, you've got some time to go and press it onto your target. But the nature of the stamper is that it's flexible and it really can go around surfaces. So in the world of nail art, I mean, nails have a curve to them, but you can press down with the silicone onto the head of your nail and it curves around, and you get the design on a curved surface. And we heard about this, we started experimenting with it and realized that actually this is a really good way to put heraldry onto shields, to put chapter markings onto shoulder pads, to put squad markings on things, kill count, whatever. It just turns out that it's an untapped strategy. We in this hobby we've got our decals and stencils and freehand. Folks like Pop Goes the Monkey and do their 3D printed designs that you could glue onto something. That also works. Sculpting it onto the model or adding a 3D printed part. It's another way of adding designs to your minis. But we figured out this the stamping method would actually be pretty sweet. And the more we experimented with it, the more we realized, like, yeah, we've really got something here. And briefly, I was like, oh man, we're going to make such a good YouTube video out of this. But my buddy Casey's like, you know what? You probably actually make this as a product and then be able to sell it and then be able to get, good designs out to people while making enough money to do some cool stuff. So that's what we did. That was the birth of Goblin Hobbies stamping kits. And we had a really long evening one night figuring out the name for this thing. And like I said in the beginning, we both love goblins, and so that was kind of in the rotation of trying to figure out some names. And it turned out goblinhobbies.com had not been taken.
Yeah, that was kind of the most surprising. It was like, wait, this has not been a thing. Somebody else hasn't used that name?
Right. So we do feel a little bit bad for Goblin's Hut. I know you interviewed Mark a few months ago, right?
Right.
Goblin's Hut and Dirty Down, and so when we found goblinhobbies.com, we're like, all right, we're getting close to some other names, but they could deal with it. Goblinhobbies.com, it's too good to pass up. That had to be it.
Yeah, and one of the things that you didn't hit on, but I feel like it's a very big point is with the transfer. Not only is it soft, but it's also clear, so you can see exactly where you're putting it.
Sure.
You're basically looking down the barrel to be like, that's exactly on the shoulder pad. It doesn't end up like it slid off to the right.
Yeah. Yep. So it turns out to be a pretty accurate way of putting designs onto miniatures, and it's new in the hobby, obviously, and so we're still in our first year. We started selling in April of this year, 2025. And so we've only been around for a few months at this point. And right now, our biggest hurdle is just getting hobbyists trained up on how to use this. So, all right, you've pulled up a nice little tutorial for us there. But you've got these steel plates that are etched with a bunch of different designs. You put on what we call it Stampin' Color, but it is essentially a special type of nail polish. You dab on this special type of nail polish onto the etched designs. You scrape away the excess, and then this is a kind of paint that's organic solvent based, so sort of like an enamel, and it dries fast, so you got to work fast. And there's just a little bit of a knack to getting the pickup of the design from the plate onto the silicone. And so this is what we spent a lot of this year doing is just trying to make tutorials and go to conventions and teach people how this works and kind of get this information out there. Like, these days there are veterans who have applied hundreds or thousands of water slide decals and can train people up on this. But it turns out, in terms of building up that core critical mass of hobbyists who know how to stamp, it turns out that like wives and girlfriends who do their nails have actually been the most reliable instructors on this. But yeah, we've been going to conventions and teaching people the little physical knack of just getting a nice light rolling pickup to get the design from the plate to the stamper. Then you go to the model and give it a nice firm press down of the silicone against the painted mini, and that does the transfer for you.
And I believe it was the key when you were talking about doing it fast. I think it was, you said from the swipe, it's like 30 seconds is like the time frame between when you want to pick it up to then put on the mini.
I'd aim for 10 seconds. Yeah. Faster, as fast as you can, is a good thing. So again, it's kind of like an enamel paint that dries fast, and once you swipe away the excess, there's all these little, these recesses that have the design on the plate. They're very shallow, and so what you've done is you've created a thin layer of paint that you want to transfer to the mini while it's still wet. And once you scrape away the excess, that is a thin layer of paint that's drying fast. And so you don't want to dilly-dally. You grab the silicone stamper, you pick up the design, You sight down to make sure you like the pickup and that you know where you want to put it. Firm press onto the miniature, and yeah, part of the skill to this is just gaining the confidence to work fast, so that you get the design onto the miniature before it has dried.
And I mean, obviously, with a product like this, you would be limited on its use by just like the number of stamps that you would have on a plate. So clearly, it can't be that helpful, right?
So these the plates are infinitely reusable. So the idea is you can wipe down these stainless steel plates and use them again. So if you end up buying a plate that has a design that you really like, you have that design forever. You can put it on every miniature in an army. You can, yeah. If we compare it to a decal sheet, doing the salesman thing here,
Yeah.
kind of the pitch is that this is like an infinite decal sheet or immortal decal sheet or something like that. And yeah, for a decal sheet, every time you want to use that decal, you need another decal on that sheet. And so a decal sheet will have normally at least 5 repetitions of any individual symbol. Whereas this, normally we do 2 repetitions of a symbol, just in 2 different sizes. So whether you want it to be like a big feature on a shield or like kind of the feature in like a quarter of a shield is
Right.
one of the ways to think about it. Or in the world of 40K, do you want that to be your shoulder pad or do you want that to be the knee pad size, sort of?
Right. But I
and
mean,
so-
you got to you clearly you have to have a plate that's got the symbol on it to be able to. So, I mean, how many different plates can there be?
I see the question. And we launched with 10 different plates. And so we put 2 of them in our starter kit. And so the starter kit has the plate that we call Heraldry 1 and Squad Markings 1. And so Heraldry 1 is, more of the stuff that you'd put on a knight's shield. Squad Markings 1 is, put it on a soldier sort of thing. And so some of it's just nice generic stuff like numbers or checkerboard. Checkerboard ends up being one of the really, really good uses of this
Oh,
because it works and the process that it's replacing is so ridiculously labor intensive that it's really, really nice.
Especially when you have
But-
the weird shapes that you're trying to put a checkerboard on, where it's not exactly square. But for this, it's just you can stab it on there and then just like clip off the extra, or just like clip away, peel away the extras.
Yep, so it does curved surfaces quite well, but it also can kind of go over gaps in a good way. So if you have a battle mech of some kind, like if you have a mech that has all those panel lines and stuff on it, you can do a symbol or a pattern that kind of goes across those armor panel lines, and it's going to work much better than something like a decal where you'd be able to see the plastic film, bridging the gap between those armor panels. So yeah, strengths and weaknesses to everything, but this has some cool advantages in terms of the type of surfaces that it works with. And again, it's kind of this infinitely reusable thing. You can use different colors for the same symbols. And yeah, at the moment we have a total of 10 plates worth of designs that we have for sale. So, beyond the squad markings and the heraldry, we've got elements and we've got heraldry 2 and chaotic and zombies. The streamer did a plate for us, and
Nice.
and then of course the business model here is just to keep coming up with new designs and selling plates with new designs on them. And actually in front of me here is props. I have a stack of plates, and I think none of these plates are currently released. I think I have 17 unreleased plates in front of me here.
Wow.
And not all of them are coming out at once. We're still trying to figure out what we want our release cadence to be. Maybe it'll be like, 5 new plates at a time or something like that. But the goal is to keep on listening to what hobbyists are are looking for symbols and patterns, and keep finding cool ways to get those out to folks.
Yeah, and I want to say it was, what was it, like, it was 50, $60, I think, for the starter kit that gets you the 2
Yep.
plates and then all the accessories. But I think it was only like 12 to 15 for the individual plates.
16.
16.
Yep. So
okay.
the starter set's 50. So 2 plates, black and white, stamper, scraper, so everything you need to get started. And then you can look and see if there's an individual plate that you want. Those are 16 each. And yeah, so we're kind of priced that in line with what decal sheets are going for these days.
That's
Probably
fair.
a little bit more expensive than some decal sheets, but these are made out of stainless steel and they'll last you forever. So
Yeah.
I don't know, somewhere in the right zone. There's a little bit of hobby tax there, but that has to be expected.
Now this is a good question here from the chat. Have these plates been tested with any other type of paints? They mentioned, because you mentioned enamel, but this question mentions like lacquer-based paints.
So you're not going to hurt anything by trying the plate with different paints. What we have found is that thinner acrylics definitely do not work, like acrylic ink or a more watered down acrylic paint doesn't work great. Some heavy body acrylics work pretty well, or not super well. The specially formulated Stampin' Color, Stampin' Nail Polish really does work better. And then you can certainly try enamels. We have not tried everything under the sun. We certainly try lacquers. But there has been now for the last 10 at least years this branch of the manicure industry that uses stamping nail polish. And so if you are looking for a specific color that we do not yet have, you can go out and buy stamping nail polish and it will probably work pretty well.
And probably cheaper than your acrylic paints. Or some of them.
Yeah.
Depending on the brand.
Depends.
The gamers are about to invade the nail polish aisle.
Yeah, and that's good. Yeah, that is absolutely something we want to happen. So we're very aware that not only is this like a new brand and a new company, we're really opening up a new product category. Like this, stamping is not something that we as gamers and miniature hobbyists have been used to, and so if you're getting into this, you probably are building up a new skill. And by all means, please do check out goblinhobbies.com and see if there's anything you like. But beyond that, the world of nail stamping is a good place to look at to see if they have patterns that we haven't gotten to yet. If you're really into leprechauns or butterflies or what have you, maybe you can find the actual designs that we don't have yet. But also, yeah, the tools and the colors, you can take a look at that world also.
Nice.
So speaking of patterns, are there any like licensed patterns, or is everything kind of staying like legally distinct?
So we launched in the world of legally distinct, or either generic or our own designs or what have you. But coming up here, we actually have licensing deals in the works with several game companies.
That's awesome.
And so we will be having specific licensed partnership products coming up. And I can't tell you about them quite yet, but
it's that stack of 17 that he's just saying.
Yeah. Not all 17 are...
Quick, somebody freeze the camera and blow it up.
The one on the top is called Tribal, and it's kind of in the like tribal tattoos, and I think it'll probably look pretty good with my Dark Eldar, but I don't know. But deeper in this stack, there's some alpha plates for some licensed products that we are excited to talk about when we get to that phase.
Rusty Beetle brings up a good question of, have you considered making files with people with laser engravers to make their own plates?
So you are welcome to do that. And I know that the world of 3D printing especially like took off with this idea the week after we announced it and made a YouTube video about it. There were folks in the world of 3D printing who were, printing out slabs of resin and figuring out the correct height to make the indents for their symbols. So I have never done, I myself have never done laser engraving, but if you have that tech and would like to give it a try, by all means, if you can make a nice shallow little design, go right after it. And that's in the same spirit of talking about, shopping at nail tech companies. If you want to try making this, you're at home, making your own designs at home, I think that's great. Like really, really, we think that's great. And that's just going to help to expand this technique even more. The more people who are involved in trying to work out the kinks and figure out like really the true potential of this, the better. Yeah, I think that's awesome.
Yeah, increase the knowledge base.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so Goblin Hobbies we do not have any plans to offer custom plates for individuals. Our plan is to kind of curate a Stampin' Plate full of cool designs and patterns, and then make hundreds or perhaps 1,000 of those plates to sell to different people. Currently, we're not interested in making individual plates as custom orders, but clearly there's a market for that, and if someone can figure out how to fill that niche, go for it. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, I will say, as someone that has done some laser cutting, that you would need a pretty good laser to get the detail, especially for the size. Like it's the size. Like if you're talking about doing something like that for like a tank, you'd be able to get that no problem. But being able to have that tiny, for your Space Marine, that's gonna be a harder thing to do on, like, without spending some serious dough on a laser engraver.
Okay. And I know some people who are doing it the 3D printing route actually did have success, and that does have the level of detail that you'd probably want. Modern resin 3D printing does. That there's a question about the stickiness of the color to the resin, the printer resin, compared to the stickiness of the color to stainless steel in terms of getting the pickup right and stuff like that. But the world of 3D printing has made some stuff that's kind of working, and that is awesome.
Philip, at Nova, I totally bought the sci-fi plate because there's a QR code on it.
I don't have it in this deck, but yeah, we have the industrial 01 plate, and we're trying to number things that way to leave open the possibility of having series.
Yes.
Oh, it does have a QR code on it.
Yeah.
Where does it go?
Pull out your phone, see if you can get it to work.
But yeah, I partly bought it. I was like, I'm just gonna put that on my tanks from now on.
It's a little hard to make it work, but Casey has gotten it to work. So there's a QR code. I mean, it's an inch by an inch. I think it might even be a little bit smaller than that. But there's a QR code on the Industrial 01 plate that you actually can, ink it up with black or whatever, pick it up with a silicone stamper, put it on a tank, and if you got a good impression, and if you've got the right kind of iPhone, like, it actually will work. And I think that's pretty fun.
Now I just had the idea of if you use it to, like, instead of a checkerboard pattern on, say, like an Imperial Knight, you just tile the QR code so that it looks like a checkerboard pattern.
How we doing, Philip?
I'm working on it. I'm trying.
Okay.
Enhance.
Okay.
Enhance.
I was trying to interpret your facial expressions there. Well, no, when we announced this product, our announcement came in a collaboration video that we did with the Kieran Show and the Poor Hammer guys, and the Poor Hammer folks had contacted me and Casey to see if we wanted to paint a 40K army for them as some part of a weird YouTube collaboration challenge thing. And ordinarily our response would be like, no, we don't really want to paint literally one of those guys' brothers Imperial Guard army. And normally our response would be no, but we knew that we were coming up on a product launch here, and we're like, all right, we will be involved in this big dumb YouTube collaboration. We'll paint this Imperial Guard army and essentially use that as an excuse to show off kind of the power and possibilities of these stamps. And so, all the infantrymen had multiple stamps on their shoulder pads and stuff like that. And on the tanks, we were able to actually put a ton of cool heraldry onto the tanks to really show the different personalities of the tank crews and stuff. But yeah, on one of those tanks, we were able to put this QR code, stamp on a QR code. And when I was editing the video, I said, look, this QR code actually doesn't work on my phone. But I stopped the video just on a nice, head-on shot of the tank. It's like, look, it doesn't work on my phone, but maybe it'll work on yours. And I could tell after we launched that video, you can tell where people pause and where people rewatch certain moments of the video. And there was definitely a spike there. All right, people paused and they pulled out their little phones and they did it. And the answer is a Rickroll is the answer. And so
that's great.
I felt pretty proud of ourselves for that one.
Oh my gosh.
It's important to have fun.
It was also timed with Adepticon, if I remember. It was around Adepticon was when the announcement was.
Yeah, it was about a month before Adepticon when we finally got that video out. So we had filmed it in, I want to say, October of 2024.
Oh wow.
And so I'd flown out to Nevada to visit Casey, and we cranked that army out in about 10 days. This nice blue Imperial Guard army with tanks and soldiers and Gaunt's ghosts and everything. And the two other people in this 3-way YouTube collaboration were just knocking out one weekend day at a time, as a reasonable person might. And so they took months to finish their armies, which we knew was going to happen. And so, yes, it was this scheduling endeavor to get this collaboration video to drop around the time that we were ready to launch our product. And it basically lined up. We dropped those videos about a month before Adepticon 2025. We had our first sales there in the floor of Adepticon 2025. And sold out of all the starter kits that we brought to Adepticon. And then about a week or two later, we launched online sales, and we're quite busy with all the folks on the internet that wanted their stamping kits.
Nice. Well,
yeah, I'm kind of hovering on this all-in page.
Oh yeah, that's actually been a surprisingly good seller. So we, like I said, we got our starter kit, and we've got the add-ons of these individual plates. We got a couple other colors. And when we were getting ready to do our online launch, we realized that there was enough demand that the act of fulfillment was going to be a nightmare. If somebody got a starter kit and they got the elements plate and they got a bottle of red, then the next guy got something else, the next person got something else, and we're like, it's going to take us, people are going to be angry at how long it's taking us to box these things up, and we're going to mess up these orders. And anyway, we decided when we launched, okay, we're sorry, we're only going to give you 2 buying options. You can buy the small kit, or you can buy everything. And very, very much like a Kickstarter might do. And we expected, well, we didn't really know what the ratio of those orders were going to be, but we expected that the small kit would be more popular. It turned out that more people were buying everything. And thank you to everyone who supported us in that way, because that was, we were able to very efficiently box up your orders and send them out, and then raise enough funds to get some more stuff manufactured and keep on trucking. But yeah, it's only been in the last month or so that we finally kind of felt like we were caught up enough and ready enough to let people order individual items. So now if you go to goblinhobbies.com, you can buy, the individual plates and colors that you want and stuff. But there in the beginning, we did the big kit and the small kit. And yeah, the big kit has continued to be a good seller for us, which is great. Thanks for everyone who's been supporting. Is Chris still on the internet?
I'm here.
He is. Yep.
Just trying to get cameras to stay on. But meanwhile, it also gave me a chance to pull up, because I actually do have I have a tiny game show for us. It's been a while since we've done one, but I felt, especially with the relation with the Goobertown channel and cats, I couldn't turn down the possibility of doing a cat-themed game show. So basically, I just found a bunch of videos and images of some funny cats, and I'm calling this D&D and Cats. So I'm gonna show you some of these you may have seen before, but basically, like I'm gonna put up some stuff, and you're gonna tell me what character class you think this cat is.
Ooh, I like this. Okay.
So if I can keep there it goes. All right.
Do we need to buzz in or anything?
No, this is
Am I
just
competing against Philip?
No, this isn't for points. This is just so. Actually, now that I'm looking, the videos probably not the. Probably shouldn't have done the videos, or probably should have preloaded them. But all right. So let me pull up this one. This one I heard before, where like the guy's walking along the beach with the cat, and then like the cat hears a splash, and then suddenly just like bolts. Yeah, there it goes. Where he just like suddenly goes and
Is
bolts.
He going towards?
Yeah, he just goes and grabs it, and then he's just got a fish.
Ranger?
Yeah, that one's a little. I start off with an easy one there, and it was just one of those funny where it's just like the cat was just chilling, and then he heard a splat. Like you don't hear the video, but he just.
Oh, but now okay, now he's up on a luxury seat.
Yeah, but no, he's just enjoying his food now.
Okay, the hunting action, I was gonna go with Ranger.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here we go. This is just so the video is the cat is just grabbing like a blanket and just like yanking it off the off the
strength
bed.
of a barbarian.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
it just keeps going. Like, nope, this is mine.
It's a strength 18 cat right there. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely had barbarian in mind when I was thinking about that. Just that's mine. Here we go. So this one it's called Food Critic. So it's just a bunch of shots of like
just
this
burying the food.
The cat just like gets all this food, and it's just like, no, like if you've ever seen a cat where it's done with food, it just like swipes at it when it's done.
Just save it for later. Yeah.
Well, that's the like I don't want this. At least with my cats, it's the I don't want this. Like get out of the way. And then it's just like it goes to the plain chicken meat. So it's like swiping away like all these exotic foods, and it's just the regular chicken meat is what it ends up settling on.
So it's the act of burying, but I think sometimes that is meant to be like, I don't want it right now, but I might want this later, and so it's that my cats do it to my food sometimes. I'll go and sit down with a plate of eggs or something, and the cat will be like, "Oh, well, we'll get this later." We'll try to cover it up with a napkin or something.
I always see it because it's like I'll give one of my cats their food and they will eat, and then that's when they're done is when they like cover it up. But I guess it could be it's like, all right, I'm saving the rest for later apparently.
Okay. Well, you know what? I might. You could probably make it a cleric argument.
Oh,
There's some sort of like trying to find the order in things, trying to restore an equilibrium of some kind there. Uh, you know,
I don't know.
It's the healing and making sure the party is ready to go. That's very very maintenance oriented, I think. So I might go cleric.
I have nothing to justify this, but somehow I feel like warlocks are picky eaters.
Okay. All right.
So I kind of want to say warlock because like they didn't get their magic from like any of the normal ways. They had to get it from like a very specific way of getting it. I don't know. Like I said, I have no justification, but I get this feeling that it's like that's a warlock.
We're sugar babies. That's what warlocks are.
So this one's just a picture, but it's a cat that's just in a fishbowl. Cat was too scared to explore the barn beyond his bedroom, so my kid put him in the jar and walked him around and showed the place, and the cat is just like freaking thrilled.
So there's some artificer there in the fact
yeah.
that they're using advanced technology, but there's also the using of the child as a servant. So so I wonder if that actually might be more warlock coded.
Fair.
If you're thinking of the child as a familiar, some sort of a golem that's helping him out.
That's true. Yep. So same prospect. Artificer and warlock is basically like the summon to do the thing. Whereas whether it's a golem or a demon.
Oh, Beetle puts up a good using the bowl to hide. So that's a rogue.
Oh yeah.
I feel, but so I hear that, I see that, absolutely. But I would say that since we're dealing with cats, like I'm saving the rogue choice.
Yeah, like you could just say rogue. Yeah, you could just say rogue for all of them.
That's definitely, if there's a sneak attack somewhere in here, that's the rogue.
Yeah. We're going to need that rogue later. I don't think we can waste it on Jarcat.
Yeah. This one is just like the growliest face, while just like the caption being "Is the dinner ready?" And you just get this like the most Garfield looking stare I've ever seen.
There's no corrupt politician class.
Yeah. So okay, we could do barbarian there, but I think there's an argument for the grumpy. Wizard
paladin
or the grumpy paladin. Yeah, the uptight paladin you could also make an argument for.
All right. Couple more.
Oh, the NPC paladin from Darkness Rising that kept having to leave the room.
So this is just like it's a two cats on a road trip, and like one is just laying in the other one's lap, and then the other one is just like licking it, cleaning it, and then just stops to look at the camera as in like, excuse you. And I'm like, this is the bard, right?
Yeah, it's the bard. That's the bard. That's the high charisma, social. Yeah.
We're having a moment.
Mm-hmm.
Or the bard is the one sleeping. Could be the argument.
Got someone to take care of them.
Yeah. Oh, yes. This could be the rogue when it gets caught. Where it's just the door, it's a Ring door camera, and it's just like the neighbor comes up and brings the cat, and he's just like dangling the cat, and he's like, it rings the doorbell, and then the cat's just like, meh.
Yeah, I mean, it has some sort of it has a heist energy to it too. Like there's the caught criminal.
Yeah.
But there's also like
the fishbowl look.
Yeah. This is the start of one of the Ocean's 11 heists or something. Like it starts with somebody ringing the doorbell. There's a cat at the door.
This is when they're assembling the crew. This is like the clip they show.
Part of the crew for sure. Yeah.
Like this is the clip they show when they're like there's like a George Clooney's talking in the background as like this video is coming up. And then this one's also probably the barbarian, but just it was too adorable to bring in.
This is a cat carrying a much larger stuffed woolly mammoth up several flights of stairs.
Yeah.
Past another cat.
Yeah.
It's kind of giving me the energy from the second Guardians of the Galaxy. It's like, I'll fight it from the inside.
So yeah, those were all
that's barbarian.
Yeah, those
That's
were all the
barbarian.
ones I had. Also, I could just I feel like this is what a barbarian would do if a barbarian had a stuffed animal too.
Yeah, but also
Oh, yeah.
just the association with woolly mammoth makes you probably think barbarian pretty quickly also.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very, very before history, wearing furs in the frozen north. There's a lot of barbarian going. There's even an orange cat too, so you got the ginger hair.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. No, we got it. This game's easy. This game's easy. Fun though. Yeah.
So yep, that was all the ones I had, and I think that's a good place to wrap things up. So Brent, where is the best place for people to stay informed about what's coming next from Goblin Hobbies?
So there is a YouTube page for Goblin Hobbies. I think it might be Goblin Hobbies official, but there's a YouTube page for Goblin Hobbies. Every once in a while, I'll mention it on Goobertown Hobbies, both of those YouTube pages, and of course, goblinhobbies.com. It's a good place to learn about stamping.
And there's a newsletter that I signed up for.
Yeah, if you sign up for a newsletter, you'll get access to a couple of STL files. We're working on, well, we have already made STL files for our little goblin mascots.
Nice.
So our logo has two little goblins on it, and we named them. It's Big Sister Elma, Little Brother Nugget, and we are using those as an excuse to make goblin minis. So we have 4 STLs, 2 of each sibling that you can get as a download if you sign up for the newsletter. But as another little taste of upcoming attractions,
Ooh.
we used a large amount of our profits from our first sales to commission War Games Atlantic to make sprue for us. This is a hard plastic polystyrene sprue that has our 2 goblins on here as I'd probably put them as fighter class goblins, and we got them on here with a whole bunch of different options for stuff they can have in their hands and a couple of head options and stuff like that. And this is on the way, but we eventually will try to sell you some plastic goblins, but in the meantime, you sign up from that newsletter on goblinhobbies.com, get yourself some STLs.
Rusty Beetle says that he needs more Goobertown cats.
Oh, they're around. Yeah, but I also do have a YouTube channel. It was a joke YouTube channel, but it's real for Goobertown cats. And there's
I think that's what he
5
was referring
videos on
to.
there. Yeah.
All right, I think it's time to play that beautiful bean footage here.
There it goes. And that's been our show, everyone. We want to thank Brent for hanging out with us, putting up with all our shenanigans. We want to thank you guys for being in the chat and hanging out with us today. If you like what you see, you got to check us out, boardsandswords.com. You go to /live. That's got the link to the streaming channels plus our schedule. And if you just hang out on boardsandswords.com in general, it's got all the stuff we've done in the past. There's some blogs on there. There was a live pay podcast from a long time ago. It's also got the link to our Patreon. That's where you can help support the show, and you get a bunch of cool perks from Chris, like horrible dad jokes about your favorite games, and dice.
All
dice
right.
are always fun, because
Nice.
Chris is a dice goblin.
Thanks for having me on, guys. It's been fun. A true pleasure.
All right. Also, feedback at boardsandswords.com. Who do we need to have on next? That's the place to go. I've already started filling out the schedule. We had a nice little break there while we were in the con season where we were a little short on guests, but the schedule's filling up, thankfully. So looking forward to some of that in the oncoming months. But like Philip mentioned, Patreon, we'll be back in 2 weeks with another show. So go check out the Patreon in the meantime. Remember that every gamer has a story, and this one is secretly my ploy is to have enough people on the show that we just get Philip to buy all the products he needs for painting his miniatures and just guilt him into painting. Good night.
Good night. All right, are we off air? Are we done dealing with these nerds?